Hey, everybody. This is Career and Technical Education Department with Stanley County Schools. We appreciate you tuning in this week for our episode of Future Focus Friday. I'm Talina Gooch, and I'm here with Karen Brown, and we are your career development coordinators. Today, we're going to talk about the drafting engineering career pathway that is part of the STEM cluster. So let's get started. We're going to bring in two guests to speak with you about these classes. It is my pleasure to introduce Michael Laney, a current student at North Stanley High School, and Daniel Tarleton, a 2013 graduate of West Stanley High School. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Michael, we're going to start with you. Tell us what
Okay.
your drafting classes were like and why you decided to take those classes.
So I decided to take engineering or the engineering and architectural drafting classes in freshman year because I knew as of 8th grade and freshman year, just from talking to different people, that's kind of what I was leaning towards is what I wanted to do for a career. And I decided to take architectural classes first because that's the only classes we had available for engineering. And then once we went on further into school, I took the engineering classes, which is where it kind of helped me discover that's what I wanted to do as far as my career choice.
That's great, Michael. So, what are your plans after graduation?
I'm actually leaning towards going. I want to go to a 4-year college and pursue my engineering degree and either get my civil engineering degree, which is more of an architectural focus, or I want to go mechanical engineering and get my where it leans towards more of an engineering focus.
That's great. Do you have a school in mind?
Yeah, I'm looking for either NC State or UNCC.
And I know you're taking a lot of career and college promise classes right now as well to help with that.
Yes, I've taken 8 classes so far, and when I graduate as a senior, that I'll have my associate's degree to transfer into my 4-year college of wherever I go.
Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Now we're going to talk with Daniel, our graduate from West Stanley. And so, Daniel, tell us what you've been up to since graduation.
So since graduated from West, I went to State. I went for mechanical engineering. While there, I did a co-op with a company called Moen. They specialize in faucets and bathroom equipment. So I took a year out of school there and worked for them in 2 different locations in North Carolina, just to get some experience, kind of get myself a leg up once I actually got to the job field. Once I graduated, I got a job at Preform Line as a mechanical engineer or manufacturing engineer using my mechanical degree. And I'm currently pursuing another engineering degree from Stanley Community College in electronics engineering, which is just something that applies to my job pretty well. And it works out pretty well being this close to a school that has engineering options.
How did your CTE classes, in particular your drafting classes, help with your career?
So it helped both in class and with my job now. So some of the programs we used at West at the time, we actually still use here. We used AutoCAD at the time, more so on the 2D side, but we did some 3D in school. And a lot of the items that I design here, whether it be fixtures or welded components, everything that we do here with that aspect is cut out on a laser. So everything we make is a DXF file, which is a 2D print. So it's a lot easier to draw those and edit them in AutoCAD than some of our other drawing softwares that we have. It also gave me a leg up in college, getting into some of those classes where you're drawing and designing and kind of looking at processes for some of the manufacturing items we have. We touched on a lot of that stuff in my high school classes. So I was kind of going in a little more prepared than some of the other students were. So it definitely helps. It's also gave me, kind of affirmed my idea that that's what I wanted to go into. There's always a lot to learn. So kind of getting an early start always helps.
You've got to be so proud of all your accomplishments. You have done such an amazing job. So, I have a question for students that are interested in the engineering field. What kind of advice would you give them?
Go out and see what you can experience yourself. So one of the things I saw a lot going into school is students that got into an engineering major and they kind of thought they knew what it was about, and then got a semester or two in, and it was nothing like what they thought it was going to be. So try to find somebody that's in the field you think you want to go in, and kind of pick their brains a little bit, kind of see what their day-to-day job is actually like, and what they really do, and what programs they use, or what skills they use, and kind of make a relationship there. Somebody that you can talk to as you're going through your schooling, and kind of just see what advice they have. I mean, are there classes that you should take now that they feel are more beneficial than others, or are there clubs or activities or any kind of extracurriculars that either help you get into a program or kind of give you that leg up? Anywhere that you can make connections that either can, just good references are even great for getting into school. And just pursue what all's out there. I mean, there's Stanley Community right down the road that I know offers classes so you can get a leg up like Michael did, so that you're not going into college with 0 credits. So just take advantage of all the opportunities you have, and then seek ones that aren't so obvious.
Are there options out there for students that might not want to go directly into a 4-year college?
Yeah, there are. There's plenty of local community colleges that have either 2-year degrees or other kind of CTE degrees. So like I said, I know Stanley Community has computer engineering technology, electronics engineering technology, a biomedical program. I don't want to say they have a few more. I know CPCC as well. They've got quite a few more geared toward 4-year transfer. So they've got like an associate's engineering, computer engineering, electronics, electrical engineering, mechanical, and mechatronics. So there's quite a few there that if you're looking at going into a 4-year program, those are good stepping stones. Or if you just want to go 2-year and essentially be an engineering technician or something along those lines, where you get the background knowledge of engineering, but you're going to be more on the hands-on side if that fits what you want to do more. But definitely try and make, if you know you want to end up going 4-year, go ahead and try to get in contact with the counselors and stuff at that 4-year school. See what local programs transfer the best to them. A lot of them have connections with other schools to where they know exactly what classes will and will not work. I can't even tell you the number of countless stories of friends in college that took a year and a half of community college and then came in with almost 0 credits because they were either out of state, or one English will transfer but the other one won't. So it's just good to get ahead and do your research before you spend all that time and money doing the 2-year school, if you're not sure it's going to transfer and benefit you.
That's great advice, Daniel. And we also want to ask you about any positions at PLP that do not require a 4-year degree. Could you touch on that?
We've got quite a few. We have engineering technicians within my department specifically that don't require an engineering degree. Usually it's something where they are expected to be highly technical. So the two guys that are currently in that role both have a lot of experience in their position and in that field. So there's not a requirement for a degree, but any technical knowledge is definitely useful. We have quite a few quality positions that are still on the technical side, but there's not a degree requirement. Like I mentioned before, usually it's the technician side. Most of our maintenance guys have some degree or multiple degrees or credits toward a degree towards maintenance technology and electronics engineering and stuff like that.
Okay.
So there are definitely options, especially with a 2-year degree. Any kind of 2-year degree helps tremendously. Mm-hmm. It just kind of proves that you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to learn what there is out there and get an understanding of what you're really going for.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We appreciate that. And your expertise, I know you'll be a big help to Michael in the future. And we appreciate Michael being with us today, too, to share his perspective. So now we're going to talk with the drafting teacher, Tina Carter. She is the drafting teacher for Michael and Daniel. And she has a great knowledge there. So, Ms. Carter, can you tell us about the drafting pathway and what kind of students might be interested in taking that course?
Sure. First of all, before I get started on that, I just want to say how impressed I was with both Daniel and Michael's what they had to offer or what they had to say to everyone, because both of those students, and I'll tell you, the thing that really stuck out when both of those were in class, even though they were probably 7-8 years apart, is they both have a thirst for knowledge and they want to learn and they're very curious. Daniel always asked questions, and Michael always, even in class, well, Miss Carter, I see that you're doing it that way, but could we do it this way? So I think that's a great testament to any student. And I really preach this a lot during the pandemic and during the remote learning. I want you guys to ask questions. I want you to be curious about things. I'm giving assignments now that really focus on, what do you think? How would you draw this? How would you make this item? This is how it's been produced, because we're in manufacturing processes now. So they start out as a level 1, and everybody starts in that principle. And during that, it's an entry-level course, and we use what's nationally recognized. I think Daniel will tell you in industry, just about everybody uses AutoCAD. So they learn the standards and the methods of AutoCAD with an emphasis on the mechanical side of drafting, but I also try to introduce some architecture in there also. And then from drafting 1, they can branch out, like Michael said, either into engineering, it's like a pre-engineering course, or they can go into architecture, or like Michael and I think Daniel may have also. I've got a lot of students that do both, that take both. And, they may lean towards the construction architecture side of it, but then they realize, hey, I really like the mechanical side of it too. And I think Michael even mentioned that he might do, might be doing civil engineering with an emphasis on architecture. So I've got a student from last semester, Gabe Hogan, who is currently enrolled at CPCC, and his interest in architecture led him to want to do construction management. So he's going to start and take his 2 years at CPCC and then transfer over to UNCC. So they also, as a 5th option, they have the advanced studies with CTE, where it's much like a senior graduation project. They take a topic that pertains to that field, either architecture or engineering, and then they expand on that, and they do the 4 Ps, I call it: the portfolio, the project, the presentation, and the product. So that just gives them the expertise to go out and research and get with mentors and do something that pertains to maybe a field that they want to go into.
Thank you, Ms. Carter, and thank you to all our guests today on our Future Focused Friday, featuring our drafting pathway in engineering. If you haven't already, please visit www.ctestanley.com so you can follow all of our social media outlets. Until next time, we'll see you then.